thing about this water level is I can show you a couple of cool other things. For example, when it's a foot and a half higher, because there's really like 3 or 4 levels of shoals working your way up the river. This is the first level. You got to get up and past these rocks. So there's a couple ways to do it at different water levels. But when it's higher like this, there's a way that you can actually navigate in between the rocks because the water's higher, so more water level, more surface water. But if you know how to navigate the current with the eddies and the rocks, it's pretty cool little hack to get through the shoals. It's a secret hack that I developed, or I discovered, and then I perfected. Most people wouldn't even notice it or think about it. They would just try and go over maybe in the main channel over there, and that's where 90% of people flip, because it's just very fast water. So I discovered this little hack to get through, and I'm going to show you right now. So make sure your life jacket's on. What we're going to do is, see that big rock up there? That's the entry point. We want to go around that rock, and you're probably thinking that doesn't look like it's possible, but you'll see how. By using the eddies, that's the way to do it. You just want to try to, anywhere there's underwater rocks, it kills the current. Like right here. So we're going to do a zigzag right through the middle of that. But first, get over here. Literally, this is a zigzag. Starting here. Now the trick is, I'm in an eddy here. I want to go straight across and get in that other eddy, but make sure you got this current coming down the left. So right up here, I'm just going to go all right paddle, all right. Right, even now, right. Until I get over here. Right? Now, I'm going to go left. And again, I got the rocks protecting the current. Right here, I'm just cruising through, and now I'm going to go all left. Left. Okay, now back to left and right. How about that? Made that look easy, huh? So most people would look at that and not even think about doing that. But if you use the eddies, it's doable. Pretty cool, huh? This is my one of my favorite places to hang out right here. I back it in right here, and I got view. Well, you can see my view. I back it in right here, and then I got the whole river view in front of me, which is pretty awesome. I'll just go ahead and show you how to get up the river. So like I said, this is the second level. You see the rocks we just came up through. But again, this is like the perfect level to migrate up the river. It's kind of just smooths out the river. The current's no big deal. Just use your eddies or trees or stumps or whatever to kind of kill the current so you can get around. But it's not that difficult, and it enables us to go further up the river by crossing over these shoals. So just enjoy, this is fun. So in this spot right here, when people come up, they like to come up that channel over there, and they try and go up these shoals over here on the right through the middle. That's a big mistake. Come over here on the left side. This is a side door. Over here where I am, I'm protected by rocks, and I can sneak into this next level through the side door. You can imagine trying to go through that on the right over there. That's pretty treacherous. That'd be almost impossible trying to paddle up against that in the middle. So you find where the water breaks, and that was on the little side door there. And then what I'm going to do is get over to the right side, get out of the current, hug the right bank. The majority of current is in the middle of the river, so if I get over to the right bank, hardly any current. park on the right, pretty much from Georgia 400 all the way up here. So about a mile and a half so far. It's all Island Ford Recreation Park, Chattahoochee National Recreation Park, Island Ford. The Sandy Springs is on the river right side, and Roswell is on the river left side. I love when these, I don't know what this stuff is, it's like mossy stuff, but this time of year the top of it sort of blooms and you get this very almost fluorescent green surface moss. Really awesome. One person fishing. That's nice. This is a really good fishing area too. And there's only one person out here. The water's high. It's harder to fish, like I said. It's definitely more difficult. When it's low, this is primo's fishing area right here. Alright, I'm going to show you how to get up the middle of this. When it's low, this is really difficult to get up the middle. Today, a little higher, should be easier. Again, I'm looking for dead water. Just keep bouncing left and right, finding the dead water from the boulders under the water. Less current. So we're going to go follow this little patch on the right here. See how it's all dead from that big boulder up there? And then we're going to pop right out in the main channel, making sure we're vertical, pointing up the river. You want your nose pointing up the river so you can cut right through that current. All right. It's a workout, I'm not gonna lie. So now we're into the third set of shoals. And that's above us there. That's the last set of rocks before you're pretty much up there at the boat launch at Island Ford. So all of this is really great fishing when it's a little lower, so a couple hours from now. Okay, so the last set of shoals to get by. How would you do it? Well, if you look to the right, that's pretty treacherous. I mean, you're in all this current, a lot of rocks. So I'm going to show you yet another hack, and this is a good one, like the zigzag, the first one. That's a great one. This is also one. When the water's this level, you can do this little hack we're going to do. But when it's any lower than this, almost impossible. I would recommend get out and pull your kayak over this rock. But when it's this level, impress your friends, because this is pretty cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go up the right side, and then we're gonna we're gonna float over there in the eddy in the middle. And then we're gonna turn around, and then we're gonna navigate up here, zigzag. The key is when it's high, like the higher, you can get through this. When it's lower, you can't get through that. Now what you got to realize is that current is really strong in the middle, so we're going to hit it hard and then be ready to left paddle to get through that current. So here we go. Alright, now right here we want to let it take us, let us drift over, left paddle, and then it gets us over here. That's the trickiest part when it's high like that. If you know what you're doing, and you don't try and fight right into it, you can get up here. All right, now, again, water level higher, much easier. So I'm just gonna follow the dead water here, and you can see that current's really moving there. So I wanna get over here so I can hit that vertically. And then it's gonna be a heavy right paddle, right paddle. Ready? Right paddle, right paddle, right paddle, right paddle. Right paddle, all right. Now this, see, there's boulders and everything. If this is any lower, this is really difficult in here. But again, when it's this level, it's way easier. I tell people all the time, when it's higher water, it makes a lot of the cutting through shoals easier. So that's it. I just took you through the 3 main shoals in Island Ford. Boat launch is about a half a mile, not even, quarter of a mile up there. This is mile marker 320 right here. And once you're here, this is calm water. And boat launch right up there on the right, river right. So Island Ford, that's also the headquarters for the Chattahoochee National Recreation Management Group. And there's a big parking lot, tons of trails here at Island Ford. There we go. So when it's low, there's usually lots of fishermen out here walking around. Maybe this afternoon later. Tell you what we're gonna do. And any kayaker, you earn a badge if you do what we're gonna do. You get a performance badge of achievement, and that is to paddle all the way up like I did today, all the way to the top of this big island, which a little while ago I was thinking about backing it in and hanging out at. This is still the same island on the left, but paddling up through all those shoals, getting all the way up here. And then you circle the island and you go back down on the river right, going down the other side, which is also way better when there's a lot more water like this. This is perfect conditions. So what we're gonna do, it's a treat. That means everybody watching is gonna get a performance badge of achievement. We're gonna circle around the island and go back down on the right side. Now you get the house tour on old Riverside Rd, which is the gravel road right off of Riverside. You can see these homes. These are really neat. I mean, they're in the flood zone for sure. So they don't build anymore, but these are some pretty awesome homes. But we're circling around, and we're gonna go back down the river right. And there's the boat launch right there. So I made two different videos. One navigating Island Ford, Shoals, you know, go right or go left. In this case, we're doing the whole thing, but it's, you know, I don't recommend going down the right side if the water's low, because there's a bunch of shoals, really a lot of rocks. But on a day like this is really perfect conditions. So here we go. We just went all the way up and circled that island, and we're gonna come down and pop out where the people were, where we were hanging out, and we're gonna actually come around the island right where I was gonna hang out on the beach there. Pretty awesome. I think I earned a beer. All right. There's some really, you still gotta watch out. Again, a lot more rocks and some pretty decent shoals in the middle that we're gonna go through. But hey, that's a good way to earn a performance activity badge. And the sun just came out. So cheers. Tell you what, nice refreshing cold beverage beer never tasted better than after a little workout like that. Delicious. Look at that one, just hanging out over the river. Really nice. Let's see if my dog friends are down here. Every time I come through here, oh, I see them, yeah. Now, my favorite house on the river's coming up. It's in like Architect Digest. You just look it up. When you see it, you gotta look it up. I can see the white dog. It's sitting out on the deck without any railing, straight ahead. But yeah, these dogs are always barking at me when I come by. But this house is straight ahead, right up there, right up there, right up there, is just magnificent. It's got like 8 different balconies. I count about 4 dogs. This house is crazy. Look at that. Count the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 balconies. Wow. Where's the doggies? Look at that place. All right. I think I'm gonna go left middle. I see a rock. There you go. Woo-wee. How about that, huh? That's nice. Pretty awesome. So now we're up in next to the new Riverside Road. You'll see the cars going by. And there's the subdivision right there. See, this is a nice side. And I mean, I love it. Just, you know, you can imagine those shoals back there, a foot lower, and really normal would be 2 feet lower. Very difficult to get through that. Not impossible. You can walk through it, but I personally enjoy the other side because there's 3 different sets of shoals. A lot more stuff to do, better fishing over there. But this is fun to do on it every now and then. Outstanding. So now we're coming back to the very first set of shoals, but from the other side of the island. And looks like that big old party that was on the rock has vacated and further down the river now. So right here, I tell people all the time, if you looked at my other videos, you can go through the middle and to the right if you want. And the water's this high, you can probably get through that, you know, not a problem. But when it's lower, there's really only one way to do this safely, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And it's the way I recommend every time, because you avoid all those rocks here. If you hug the bank, right here, the island on the left, if you hug it closely, it'll kind of sling you around right into an eddy, and it'll be exactly where I was going to park earlier. And we're going to park there now. But you avoid all the shoals by doing this. Hug it, because the water starts taking off to the right. So you want to be right along this edge. And then it'll sling you around right into an eddy, right under this tree. Watch out for spiders. All right, and then you're like, woo, look at that. Look at that, we're right back where we started. There's our little beach. Pretty awesome, huh? But if you see what I mean, like coming through here, look at all the water. If you miss that tight turn, you're gonna get sucked in and down, and that's all rocky and scrapey. Makes things way difficult. And right here, this is where we came up the little zigzag right there. We zigzagged right up that, right there. This time of year, you want to watch out for those JORO spiders, J-A-R-O. I don't know if they're poisonous or not. They're big, black and yellow, but they're everywhere. They're taking over. You want to keep your eye out for them. There's one right here. Where is he? Yeah, there's one right there. And they're everywhere. There's one right here. Oh yeah, that's a big one right there. There's another one. 1, 2, 3. They're all around me. 4. You can see the silhouette of one up there, 5. But nowhere, they don't come out and come after me or anything. I hope. But last year when Helene hit, it was the end of September. So imagine this river with Helene, it was about 20 feet higher. And I do the floods. I'm out here in the floods. Check out those videos. Look at my playlist. Kayaking in floods, pretty crazy. But when the water's 20 feet higher, I go into the trail systems. Okay, so Island Ford over here, I go into the trail systems and paddle around in the trails because it's 3-4 feet of water on the trails. But because it was in the end of September, it was still lush like this. And what I underestimated was the amount of JORO spiders that were everywhere. So when I was going into the woods and the trails, which in the winter you could do no problem if there's a flood, I was running into all these spiders, like where I could cut in like an area like this, and there'd be these JORO spiders. Oh man, there were so many. And then if they weren't in the trees, because we were 20 feet higher, so they typically like to stay out of your way. But when the water's 20 feet higher, now you're in their area. The other problem was the amount of spiders that were in the water and things. So as I'm floating around, paddling around, everything's trying to get in my boat because everything 20 feet up was been washed with spiders and you name it was in the water. It's crazy. Watch the Helene. There's a part 1, part 2 a year ago. Kayaking the Helene, part 1 especially, because part 1 is me getting all the way up to here, like that whole island over there. I was 20 feet higher up in the trees, like halfway up the trees, just sitting there in the water. That's how high this was. The water was up to the road over there. There obviously no rocks here. This was like a big lake. Water was 3-4 feet up into the trails over there. So definitely a video you should check out, because it was still summer. It was the end of September, and you just got to imagine what it's like 20 feet up in the treetops when it's this lush, paddling around. So it was crazy.